great price, maybe 30 to 1. I'm telling you, it's a lock.
But it rained last night.
Exactly. This horse loves the slump. It's in his bloodlines. His father was a mother. His mother was a mother.
His mother was a mother?
What did I just say? Come on, let's go up to the office. I'm going to call my bookie.
Oh, yeah, it's all set. They got the bug boy on.
The bug boy?
The little fella's been riding his heart out. They're gonna break his maiden.
Really? But it's a little slow out there. Rain last night.
Oh, this baby loves the slop. Loves it. Eats it up. Eats the slop. Born to slop. His father was a mother.
His father was a mother.
His mother was a mother.
His mother was a mother.
What did I just say?
Welcome, punters, to the special Melbourne Cup Day preview. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
Going well, Worm. How are you, mate?
Going well. Did you pick that intro?
Oh, mate, can you enlighten me?
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Kramer sitting on the train, hearing the little tip on the side, and I played it because every man and his dog's going to have a tip in this cup.
That's right.
Every man and dog going to have a thought. They're going to tell their friends, their local milk bar, their thoughts. So I thought I'd play it, and quite ironic for Melbourne Cup Day because the once-a-year experts come out, or they keep, or we'll get random text messages like I got one off a number that I didn't even know and said, "What's your tip for the Melbourne Cup?" I don't even know who it is. So, yeah.
I'll give you a tip before we even start. This is to everyone. Back the horse that you found, because if it wins and you're not on it because you've changed your mind because you've listened to someone else, you will never forgive yourself.
Yeah, 100%. But you can listen to us and we will steer you in the right direction. That is one guarantee. Might as well kick off. I was going to say last week, but we'll do it. It's from Saturday, Derby Day. Pineapple didn't go our way. It was a tad disappointing, but maybe last shit is looking for 2,000 metres.
Yes, Le Creek. Well, I don't think we were the only ones on board Le Creek over the weekend, but that's all right. I'll happily pass over the Pineapple.
I was hoping she'd back up Saturday in the 2,000 stakes race, the big one against Animo, but they've sent her home. They're sending her home on Wednesday, which is a tad disappointing, but definitely keep her in your thoughts because she's going to be a really good horse next prep. But we do move to a positive. If anybody listened to us in the Derby betting strategy, we did say Manzoice at $26. What a result.
Mate, unbelievable. I'm glad you mentioned it. Go back and have a look at the YouTube of it because I was sitting there shaking my head going, absolutely, yep, all over it. Chris Waller's only runner in the race. And you called it. You said Mickey D could look like an absolute hero on board this.
Yeah, I have to give him credit. It was a good ride, patient. Wanted to do a lot wrong. And, yeah, you got to give him credit because he straightened him up and pounced that last 50. It wasn't until the last 50 I got out of the chair and started rolling the newspaper up and whipping him home.
Yeah, it was an interesting one because I actually thought that Mr. Maestro was just sitting pretty in Damien Lane at the 400 metre mark, and that was my largest bet for the race. And I thought, wow, Damien, you have ridden this to an absolute T. But it probably could only run 2,400 metres. It couldn't run that last 100. And absolutely, Manzoice just covered the ground so well across probably the last 300. It was emphatic.
Yeah, it was. And the Coolmore, geez, that was a serious win. And I did say I didn't know what to do. And even last 2 minutes, I was going to back it, and I didn't. But in secret, wow, she's a serious racehorse.
Absolutely. That was very impressive. And weren't the crowd loving J-Mac?
Can ride if you ever doubted him. He's seed number one of our jockeys and probably seed number one that we will both ever see, I reckon.
I think Smart and Sharp straight after that race went from about $5.50 to $3.50 within 10 minutes.
Yeah, 100%. They wanted to back him. You reckon J-Mac will go to Hong Kong?
J-Mac to Hong Kong. Oh, I'm sure he's already had plenty of phone calls about Hong Kong. I've got no idea, mate.
Okay, I just thought Maria on the bench. I reckon in a year and a half time when the baby comes, he might venture over.
Yeah, look, I'm sure he might be a decent retirement fund for him.
Yeah, 100%. Just look at Zach Purton. We'll move straight into track stats, guys. Rails out 2 meters Tuesday. Oh, just heard the track manager on TV, and he reckons if it's the lower end of the rain, they'll be heavy 8. And if they get the higher end of the rain, it's going to be heavy 10. So be working around the heavy range. And yeah, just look for those mothers.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
mothers and fathers.
The wet track indicator is going to be in high use on Tuesday, probably on Thursday and next Saturday as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's a shame, but at least we're on the best track, the best draining track, the best track manager. The track will be fine. At least there won't be any mad bias like previous years.
Did he mention anything about the car park for the Marquees?
Take cover, I reckon.
Money back, I think.
Oh, geez, there'd be some muddy areas there after Saturday. Trial trackers. I'm going to mention one here. Race 3, number 3, Criminal Code. Just its jump out was really good, and it's going into the Greys race. So I don't think you need to be screwed down to win this lot because it's a very low rating race. Jump out's been superb, and I really liked it through the line. Tells me it's a serious horse. We'll be back and wide, but the old saying, grey in the wet, when the whole field's greys. So be looking for that tip going around. But yeah, $7 Criminal Code, I think will be winning. Before we get stuck into the race that stops the nation, guys, I just want to mention, please subscribe to our podcast via any platform you listen to your podcast, or subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get the episodes as they drop. Please like or retweet wherever we post this show so we can just grow our audience. We'd love to grow and share our thoughts. We both really appreciate it if you do this for us. Best thing about the show is we do this all for free. No paywalls, no promoting of paid services. We do this because we love the industry and we love sharing our knowledge week to week, win or lose. So please, listeners, share the love and retweet, like, share, whatever you can do. We will really, really appreciate it. Right, we'll move into the Melbourne Cup, 3,200 metres. It'll be raced at 3 o'clock. If it was raced in New South Wales, it'll be running at 3:20 because they'll go 20 minutes over. But Group 1 handicap, 3,200 metres around the heavy range. My thoughts is on this tempo and speed map. I think there'll be some serious tempo here with Serpentine Knight's Order from outside with Point Nepean. I think they only know one way, and that's get to the front. Interpretation will kick up from its 6 barrier, I believe. And there will be other horses wanting to push up as well. So I think the first 1,000 metres of the heat will be on. They'll be stretched right out to find positions, and then they'll try and just slow it off a bit, but that might be their undoing. But all I know is at the 400-metre mark, there's going to be a white flag up for a lot of these horses that will be giving up. Matty, your thoughts?
It's a good call. Just before I get to the speed map around these horses over 3,200 metres, only 8 of them have travelled over 3,000 plus before. So I agree. As they corner, as they start to straighten up, I think there's going to be a lot looking for the oxygen mask. So keep that in mind when you're doing your numbers. Definitely have a look at the furthest that they've run, where they were positioned in the race, and then where they finished. If they dropped away, that's a bit of an indicator that they're probably not going to be running a strong 3,200. In terms of the speed map, I see the pace coming from out wide, as you did mention, Knight's Order, Serpentine, and also Point Nepean. I can see those three crossing fairly comfortably, I believe. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a cracking pace, but it'll be interesting. You mentioned the horses on the inside that probably do tend to sit midfield or a little bit worse off. They could try and use that gate and sit a little bit better than midfield, and there could be a little bit more pressure. But those three, as I mentioned, from out wide, they're the three that I do see pushing forward. Mate, just quickly on the internationals, anything to look for, or can you help the listeners out just in terms of how you assess these international horses?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's hard to assess them this year because they're not as well known. Is a good one to say. Like when I saw these four in the field a week or two out, it was like, who are these? I had to research them. Not big on my international form, but I got a good viewing of them. But yeah, I had to do research and looking. Normally, when one comes out, there's a horse that has won over 3,200 or raced over 3,200. Not well, Loft was one of them, and I was keen on it, but unfortunately, he's not running. But like without a fight, 28 has won at 2,800. Kimura 2,800. Deval Legend 2,600. Hu Yal Mal 2,800. So none of them have been there at 3,200. So it's hard to get a guide on them. I think you just got to trust your eye more importantly. But yeah, we'll dive deep into them and hopefully give some sort of info on them to help our listeners out.
No, absolutely. And look, in between now and when the race does run, there's going to be a lot of interviews with people that know these horses a lot better than us. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an ear out for that, I should say. But have a listen to people like Nick Williams, who knows these internationals inside out. Now, he mentioned a few weeks ago that when he was down at Werribee, Duval Legend had all of these covered, inclusive of Loft, had these covered by lengths. So that kind of gives you an indication for someone that really knows these international runners, how they stack up. He's only concerned with Duval Legend, which we'll get to when we actually get there, but seeing it's a favourite in the race, his only concern was it carrying the 55 kilos across 3,200 metres. So that type of insight does give you something to work off. So definitely keep your ear to the ground.
Yeah, 100%. By See the Stars, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to buy him after a couple of starts. Typical Lloyd, but I don't reckon they would have been getting Bon Ho. They could have offered him anything, but he wouldn't have sold it. All right, we'll run in through runner by runner. We'll kick things off with number one, Gold Trip, barrier 14, top odds of $14. Matty, kick us away.
Mate, sensational Caulfield Cup run here for Gold Trip. I liked it in the Caulfield Cup. I thought it would run probably maybe top 5 in the Cox Plate. However, didn't really finish a race off. On Thunderstruck, passed it quite comfortably, which was a little concerning, but I'm going to forgive that run. Zara back on board, big tick. Jamie Spencer not on, who doesn't seem to be riding them exceptionally well out here. Blinkers off, also like that. Didn't work it during the Cox Plate. This is one of the horses that hasn't run more than 2,400 metres, but if you watch its Caulfield Cup run, it comfortably carried that 2,400. So the 32, again, it might be a stretch. Wet track, not overly positive on the heavy tracks, but was really keen on this horse before the Cox. I'm happy to forgive it for that run.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Cox Plate into Melbourne Cups. I always go looking for them. They always have a good track record. Green Moon, Furiante are just two to mention. There are more, but I'll find them one day. Yeah, I always go looking for it. It was, as you said, unlucky the Cox Plate. But the big concern for me is, and a lot of people won't mention these on podcasts or shows, the horse was vetted a couple of days ago for a foot. I can't be going with a horse that's had an issue or even been vetted for a foot. So it's a clear no from me, but good luck to owners and all involved. Number 2, Due, barrier 10, Huey Bowman, top odds of $26.
Unfortunately for Duas, it hasn't showed what it's needed to this preparation. Look, last preparation, it looked like it was going to be a perfect Melbourne Cup horse, but just has not come on. Unfortunately, even though it rates exceptionally well within this race, I can't have it at all, and I can't be given it as a tip. So it's a no from me.
Yeah, just like the Caulfield Cup for me, it's had a few issues at the start of the prep, but is looking to peak for this race. I can't believe they sacked Josh Parr for Huey Bowman. He's done absolutely nothing wrong, the kid or the jockey. Huey goes on. It's a clear no for me, but looking for 3,200 meters. Number 3, Knight's Order. Tim Clark, barrier 24, top odds of $23.
Mate, obviously one on a heavy track in the Sydney Cup leading all the way. This preparation has been exceptional. First on a heavy track in a Group 2, fourth on Turnbull, third in the Caulfield Cup. Really, it's been the ultimate lead-in to a Melbourne Cup. I just question a few of those races for Knight's Order. So for me, I won't be having Knight's Order, but I can definitely see how a lot of people are going to find it. It's roughly around about $20 at the moment. Wouldn't be surprised if you actually get closer to 15 on the day. So if you do like it, I'll probably be having it now. As I said, from the wide gate, don't see that as an issue because it'll cross over, usually pings the gates and crosses over quite comfortably. So if you do like it on a heavy track, I can see how a lot of people are going to find this one. But for me, I just don't think that a horse that's going to be leading past the post the first time round is going to be leading past the post when it actually matters. Worm?
Yeah, you stole my notes with the barrier. I don't think it's any knock. A lot of people will try and knock it, but it's a long, I think it's 1,000 meters down to the first corner. He can just come across, just find his position and just, set up the tempo he wants. So good barrier, because if he was on the inside and half misses it, he might not find the front. So good barrier. The thing I took from this horse's peak figures were on heavy ground and at 3,200 meters. The figure is good enough to win this. Really like this horse's last 100 meters in the Caulfield Cup. Got pushed to the rail and was actually fighting back the last 100 meters and through the line was impressive. It's looking for 3,200. I liked it in the Caulfield Cup, so I might like it again in the Melbourne Cup. Number 4, Montefilia, Jason Collette in the wet, 55 kilos, barrier 11, top odds of $11. I'll let you have the floor here, Matty.
It's third in a VRC Oaks over 2,500 metres, fourth this year in a Caulfield Cup. As it crossed the line in the Caulfield Cup, and I liked it this year, it looked like it wanted further, which was really impressive. It hit the line exceptionally strongly. You could see the head position. It wasn't gasping for air. So the wet track is going to be a huge benefit for this horse. It's one of only a few horses that finds lengths and lengths and lengths on a heavy track. My only question mark on this horse is it reminds me a whole lot of Very Elegant. And Very Elegant needed a warm-up over 3,200 metres before it won on its second attempt. This is Montefilia's first crack over 3,200 metres. Its next furthest distance is 2,500 metres. Doesn't need just one warm-up. That's my only question mark. Now, the market's found it. I've found it. But I do just have that question mark whether this first time is going to be its winning time. So Worm, Montefilia, I do like it. Gold Trip and Juas are the only horses I've got rated better than it, and they're not travelling as well as Montefilia. So I will be mentioning this one a little bit later on.
Cool. Good analysis. Second attempt might be better for it. Comparing it to the Great Very Elegant. Now, one thing I took out of the Caulfield Cup is what the fuck was Jason Collette doing at the 500-meter mark? Did you think he was in a Dodgem car? He was just pinging them off. Like, what the hell? Go and watch it from the 600. It clearly cost the horse the race and a placing. It may have even won. I'm convinced it may have won, but loved its work through the line. Will this horse go 3,200? That is the question. One horse, I cannot make my mind up yet. So I'm sitting on the fence and I'll pick my splinters out of my ass while we go to number 5 here, New Moraine. T. Berry, barrier 7, 55.5 kilos, top odds of $71.
New Moraine, consistent is how I describe this one, mate. Fifth in the Caulfield Cup. Wet track. Look, it's not the worst on the wet track. There's much worse in this field. I'd be surprised if it sees out the 3,200 metres, so I won't be including New Moraine in my numbers.
This is one horse that'll be putting up the white flag at 400-meter mark. Will not run 3,200. If there's a market for last place, this is my tip, New Moraine. Number 6, without a fight, international horse, William Buick on board, barrier 18, 55.5 kilos. Top odds of $11.
I found it quite difficult to assess this one. Hasn't seen a heavy track, so if we're running on a heavy 9, heavy 10, I've got huge concerns for this horse. Look, it doesn't tick all the boxes for a Melbourne Cup horse coming out from overseas, so you're really going to need to trust a stable, trust a jockey if you're a fan of this one. So for me, look, I'll probably still do a little bit more work on this one. To your point, I'm probably sitting on the fence a little bit, but my biggest concern is not having any form on a wet track.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've just noticed the regular jockeys for these internationals, not one of them's come out to ride it. So that's a bit of a concern. William Buick has ridden Huyamal, but he's on without a fight. So it's a bit weird and something maybe to look into. So with this horse, best chance of winning or being competitive is sitting on speed. It has no turn of foot and it just grinds away. Seen a few runs where they've been near the rear. It looms to win, but then just drops right out. Bit of form line here, guys. On August 2021, it was at Newbury over 2,600 metres. Was 6 lengths off Huckham, who won the Group 1 Coronation Cup, which is a big race in Europe. Rodrigo Diaz finished 2 lengths in front of Without a Fight, where Rodrigo Diaz finished 3.8 off Emissary in the Geelong Cup. Without a Fight sat near the rear, finished alongside Red Verdon, who was unlucky in that race. Red Verdon finished 8th in our 2019 Caulfield Cup. Vow and Declare finished 2 lengths in front of Red Verdon. So you can tie some form lines here. Only done well on soft tracks in novice races, which are quite low rating, and handicap 105 races. I can't be with it with those form lines. Number 7 here, Kimura. Ben Mallam, barrier 17, 55 kilos. Price, top odds, $51.
Curra Cup winner. So you got to remember Twilight Payment, Rekindling. Those are the type of horses that win the Curra Cup and then come out on win. Doesn't seem to be too much of an issue. Look, a top 10 wouldn't surprise, but yeah, whether it be finishing in the top, look again, you've got to have a little bit of trust if you do like these horses from overseas, and it hasn't really stood out for me from what I've seen. So at this stage, it'll be a no.
Yeah, European owners must have been laughing at the Aussie owners for wanting to buy this horse. Won't handle conditions. Form is way too up and down. That Curra Cup, it was like an F1 race. No one made ground. 10 lengths behind. Kimura was Master Reality, who finished a pimple away from Vow and Declare in the Melbourne Cup. It has no form whatsoever now, Master Reality. It's cooked. So I cannot be with this horse whatsoever, but good luck and well spent on money on Kimura. Number 8, our favourite, Duval Legend, Kieran McAvoy, barrier 9, 55 kilos, $3.60 top odds.
It's coming another 20 cents since we started. Good. Mate.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're still there?
Yeah,
Can you just remind us what the track manager said?
Heavy 8 on the low end, and if we get all the rain, it'll be heavy 10.
Okay. So, Duval Legend, is it run on a soft track?
Synthetic is the softest.
Yep. Does it run on a heavy?
Yeah, well, my thoughts are European is soft to heavy grounds when they run.
Yep.
So it would have worked on them. So I'm not buying into the people saying, oh, what about the conditions? I don't know. Rah, rah, rah. You can't be with it at this price. Totally respect that. But it would have done its work on these conditions. The trainer has come out and said he will handle it. So you've got to back the trainer in here, and I will. And yeah, I just think it will handle him.
Okay, so it's a Group 2 winner at best, over 2,400 metres.
Yep.
Hasn't won on a heavy track or a soft track.
Yep.
We're going to be over 3,200 metres on it, potentially a heavy 10. And I'm being asked to take 360.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Those guys who got it, and girls who got it at hundreds with Bet R, congratulations, well done. Sit back, enjoy. It's just risk-free. For those who need to take it at 360, won't be me.
Yeah, fair point. Totally respect it. I can't add much more. You've summed it up pretty well. The only thing I will add is it beat a horse twice that finished fifth in the Arc and third in our Cox Plate. So that's good enough for me. And its last run at the York over 23.85, the Great Vulture, was bloody impressive. And that's what got me very excited for this horse. But totally respect. It's hard to take that prize, but can win for sure and deserves to be favourite in my eyes.
That's a fair point. Definitely can win. Take the opinions of the trainer and also the people like Nick Williams, as we mentioned at the start, who know this and know these horses a lot better than you and I.
Yeah, correct. And if you want to take 370, go for it. But
yep.
I think if you wait, you might get around the 450 mark because
Absolutely.
of the special promo that one bookie gave is 100 to 1, because anyone that's on it at 100 to 1 will not be backing it again at that prices. So it'll be just people that haven't got the promo will be backing it, and I think they'll back others. So maybe just wait. And also in the yard, it might go off its head. So be wary. It's just normal for the horse. So keep that in mind. We'll move over to Stockman, number 9, Sam Clippert and Barrier 2, 54 kilos. Top odds of $31.
We had a nice warm-up over the weekend, or yesterday, I should say. The heavy track will suit, and I can see this horse running top 10, potentially top 5 if we're on a heavy 10, which it sounds like we might be. So I think $26 for Stockman is definitely worth somewhat of a nibble. It's around the mark. It's going to run better than benchmark on a heavy 10 for that rated track. So if it's a horse that you've been following, a horse you like, yeah, absolutely. I think it can find itself in the finish. Barrier number 2, as we mentioned at the start, could actually sit a little bit closer than where it's been sitting previously. So may get a little bit of an easier run. Stockman, yeah, don't mind it for a top 5.
Said to buy shares in this 2 weeks ago. Good win, 2 starts back. Took my eye for this race, and then on Saturday they decided to run it. It was a dead set, dead ride, which for the punters that don't know what that terminology is, out the back, just looking to have a good time, build the fitness for Tuesday. This is an old-fashioned build-up for the Melbourne Cup, JB Cummings style. Run it on the Saturday, get it ready for Tuesday, and yes, I think it's a genuine hope of the locals. Number 10, Vow and Declare, Blake Shin, Barrier 4, 54 kilos, top odds of $26.
It's 52 kilos when it won the Melbourne Cup last time round, Vow and Declare. Hasn't seen 54 kilos in a very, very long time. So it's going to be a huge advantage. Now, it's running against 4 and 5-year-olds at similar weights. So that is something to take into consideration. I'm not sure that the heavy track is going to be a huge advantage for this horse, but this preparation's been spot on. It's been aimed at the Melbourne Cup, and I can see it running top 10. I'm just wondering whether on a heavy 10 it could run top 5, but it's probably a top 10 at worst.
Yeah, won the Cup 3 years ago. Good to see the horse getting somewhere near that form. Hasn't won a race since that day, so it's been 1,091 days, and I think it'll be 1,092 days. Number 11, Young Werther. D Lane, barrier 21, 54 kilos. And we have top odds of $41.
Young Werther. Yeah, let me just make sure this is right. Yeah, one career win,
Yep.
and that was his first start.
Yep.
Hasn't won a race since. So found
700
itself in a Cox,
785 days.
and then found itself in a Cox Plate and Melbourne Cup.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to double check.
And got beaten by Johnny Get Angry in a Vic Derby. Sorry, I don't mean that is disrespectful, but fuck, you're making a very good point. It should not be in this cup, hands down.
The horse has won over $1 million in prize money through racking up places. So for me, I can't be backing it in the Melbourne Cup. Since its furthest distance is 2,500. I can't see it running out to 3,200. But look, you might see this horse running around next year, and next year might be the year you can take this one seriously.
Yeah, 100% right, mate. Prep's been really good. No disrespect to the owners. Enjoy the day. But yeah, coming out of the Cox Plate, I like following horses. And I thought the run was really good, but I just don't think it's up to this grade and distance. Number 12, Who Ya Mal, is Craig Williams, barrier 15, 53.5 kilos, top odds of $16.
Interesting runner, lightly raced 4-year-old, second in an Epsom Derby, failed in a Ledger most recently. I think it's one you've probably got to keep safe if you're playing your first fours. And what I mean by that is maybe including it as a fourth spot. I can't see it doing too much better, potentially a third spot, but I won't be included in my top two.
Yeah, third to El Bodegon, who finished third in our Cox Plate on heavy ground, and that was start one. Handled it okay. This horse brings it second in the Epsom Derby. This horse can win a Melbourne Cup, but it did start $151 that day and race. I'm worried it would be near the rear in the run. Don't think it has a turn of foot to win. Number 13, Serpentine, John Allen, barrier 23, 53.5 kilos, top odds of $91.
Well, enjoy the day, guys, but I think it will be contesting last spot with Numerian for me.
Yep. Ran second on Saturday to qualify. Probably its best run we've seen in Australia. Fought back well, but it's just a no from me. Number 14, DeQuoit Sweet Jr. I've probably butchered that, but it's number 14. D Moore on board, barrier 13, 53 kilos, and we've got top odds of $34.
Adelaide Cup winner, third in a Sydney Cup, both over 3,200. So in what we're considering to be quite an even field, but really doesn't stack up too badly, old Sweet Junior. This prep hasn't been as successful, and that's why I'll be including it in probably my third and fourth spots for my exotics.
Wow, I think we're seeing this a little bit different. Won the Adelaide Cup, as you said, 3,200, but the second horse, Tiger, I don't think that's the right form for a Melbourne Cup, but we do know it runs 3,200. So there's the positive if you do like it like Matty does. Number 15, Grand Promenade. Harry Coffey, barrier 1, 53 kilos, top odds of $81.
Look, sixth last year in the Melbourne Cup. Will be absolutely set for this. And if you're looking for a horse that's going to be close to $100, that's potentially a winning chance, this could be it. Kieran Ma knows what he's doing, and this horse, since this time last year, would have just been rinse and repeat to get it set for this day. I won't be including it in my numbers, but a horse at $100, this is probably one.
Don't think the horse has come back anywhere near of last year's form. Beaten 12 lengths in last year's Melbourne Cup, which was probably better than this year's Cup. Conditions won't favour this horse. I can't be with it. Number 16, Arapaho, Rachel King, barrier 19, 52.5 kilos, top odds $81.
Look, heavy track is certainly going to suit this horse. This horse is probably the horse that likes going through puddles more than any other horse within the race. So it probably comes into consideration for that, but that's about it. It was second innocent ledger behind Stockman, but I think it's going to struggle over 3,200, even if it does get through the wet ground. So not for me.
Yeah, as you said, had form around Stockman and has form around the Caulfield Cup winner, Durston, who's not running, and has form around Francesco Guardi, who pissed in and beat Luna Flare last start. Arapo was a 2,000 meter race, did beat Francesco. So I'm chucking this in my try, first fours, and I'm going to have something to place on this. I think it is stupid odds considering what Stockman's paying. Number 17, Emissary, Paddy Maloney, barrier 3, 51.5 kilos, top odds of $34.
So Geelong Cup winner beat Surefire won on the weekend. So that form line reads exceptionally well. Again, not one that I can potentially see stretching out to the 3,200 metres, but we always know that the winners of the Geelong Cup generally perform quite well in the Melbourne Cup. So take that into consideration. Again, it might just be one you want to include in the lower numbers of your exotics. It's probably not one that I'll be popping in though. It'll just be a borderline. But Emissary, just top 10, that will be what they're targeting.
Yep. When I watched the Geelong Cup, I thought, geez, that was a great run. Looked a very good Melbourne Cup run. But then Jockey hops off and says he's worried it won't run 3,200. So I'm going to back the jockey in here and say no for me. But if you do like it, I'm not going to talk you out of it. Number 18, Luna Flare, Mick D, the superstar, barrier 12, 51.5 kilos, top odds of $19.
So I reckon he's been set for this one a long way out. Graham Begg picked this horse up off David Hayes when he left, and it's been a sensational acquisition. Last 2 years, though, Graham's put it towards the Queen Elizabeth and hasn't gone towards the Melbourne Cup, which I found interesting. So I think that this horse is really worth some consideration. From barrier number 12, it'll sit midfield, probably slightly worse. And at $20, it's another one of those horses that needs to be in consideration. I think it's hard to actually tip this horse on top of a few of the others, but wouldn't surprise me if it's around the mark.
This was another horse that had a dead ride in the Moonee Valley Cup. Just went out the back, looked like to have a good time. I thought it ran really well, was spotting some serious margins to the leaders and Francesco. But yeah, he was slowly grinding away. Maybe going to be a top 10 chance for top 10 chance betting if you are into that sort of stuff. Number 19, Smoking Romans, Jamie Carr, barrier 16, 51.5. Top odds of $19.
Just another one of these ones around that $20 mark. So surprise winner in the Turnbull. Solid without being sensational in the Caulfield Cup. Probably wasn't suited by the lanes or the inner side of the track in the Caulfield Cup. Heavy track shouldn't be an issue here. So again, it's another one of these ones that if you do like it, you could definitely make a case for it being around about that fourth or fifth position.
Yeah, unlucky in the Caulfield Cup. I thought Jamie just thought the gaps would open and it was just some nice tight riding from a few jockeys. So she had to go back to the inside. But what the biggest concern was, Night Order was going a lot better in that inferior ground. So I can't be with Smoking Romans. So it's a no. Number 20, Charlie Rose, Dean Yendall, barrier 22, 51.5. Top odds of $101.
Fourth in the Adelaide Cup over 3,200 metres last year, followed by a ninth in the Melbourne Cup, 13th in the Caulfield Cup this year, not travelling as well. I can't see it making top 10.
Ran, I thought, looked better than what it says in the Caulfield Cup. Its last 100 I thought was really good, but I'm worried it'll be out the back and won't be competitive. Number 21, Point Nepean, Will Lorden, barrier 20, 51 kilos, top odds of $67.
Lightly raced 5-year-old. Only 9 starts and 4 wins from those 9 starts. So interesting runner, but hasn't been exposed to a heavy track, and I don't think it'll really be up to this class. So point in the pan, I'll be passing on.
Yeah, back in April, you would have thought it would have been a top 3 chance in the Melbourne Cup, but just hasn't come back anywhere near that form. Is that because they've been riding it dead, knowing they've had they've been qualified already for the Melbourne Cup? Maybe. But what I can't work out is why, if it's going no good, why are they bringing an international jockey out here? It just doesn't make sense. Is it going anywhere near they think? I don't know. It's confusing me every time I look at it. So I'm going to move on before I really overthink it. Number 20.
Where's Wayne from? Where's Wayne from?
Europe, I think.
Okay.
Number 22, High Emotion, Teo Nugent, barrier 8, 50 kilos, top odds of $41.
Good point too. 50 kilos for these next 3 horses. Bendigo Cup winner, moving through the grades exceptionally well. I think it's found its place probably within the country cups. And good luck to all the owners. Top 10, absolutely a chance. So hopefully we see it within there.
Won the Bendigo Cup on Wednesday. Yes, the win didn't look as good, but what I took out of it is Harry Coffey took a while to pull this horse up. Has a figure on soft 7 that would be making this horse really competitive. Heavy 10 or 8. Don't know. That's the only concern. Bit of money since the barrier draw. Is this owner inspired? I don't know, but good luck to the owners. Top 10 chance. Number 23, Interpretation. Craig Newitt, barrier 6. 50 kilos. Top odds, $61.
Mate, this is a highly rated international horse when it first came out. Had one winter run. Ran the quality in the Bart Cummings was solid. The Geelong Cup run was really average, quite comfortable just to leave that out. Has run over the 300 metres. No form on heavy, which is slightly concerning, but as you mentioned, I'm sure it would have been exposed to heavies over in Europe. Froggy on board, Mark Eustace. Oh, look, I think this is my absolute roughie of the race at $51. I will definitely be having something on this, something small, but at $51, I can see this horse winning the race.
Wow. I'm complete opposite here. Pulled up lame out of the Geelong Cup. I can't be with a horse that's pulled up lame from that race. Any setback is a no zone just for me. Number 24, Realm of Flowers, D. Thornton, barrier 5, 50 kilos, top odds of $12.
Look, 6-year-old at 50 kilos in the Melbourne Cup is a huge advantage. So I can see how this horse is $11 at the same weight when it ran 5th in the Sydney Cup. So it doesn't mean straight away that it's a knockout for the Melbourne Cup, which is a much harder field than the Sydney Cup last year, or earlier this year. Now, the market's really come for it based on its 3rd in the Metro. I struggle to see this horse still having the class to some of these others. So for me, Realm of Flowers, even though a lot of people are finding this horse, I won't be one of them, William.
One thing I've just noticed, and this is where the odds do not stack up. Arapaho, it was 3rd of September, heavy 9, Randwick, the Tats Cup, listed grade. Cadre du Noir won the race. Second was Arapaho, beaten 5.5 lengths. Realm of Flowers, beaten 7 lengths. So why is there a massive differential there? I do not know, but it's Metrop run. Go and watch the whole race. I think this run was massive and close to being one of the biggest runs I've seen in some time. The jockey tried to absolutely butcher this ride, and he did. He did it with flying colours, and he got the 3 votes at the end of the day. He sat 3 wide, no cover near the rear at the start, then moved up with no cover to about midfield when they were turning around that first corner. Then from the 800 meters, he rolled forward again and should have been out the back with 200 meters to go. Only went down by 0.09 of a length. The run was massive. 3,200 will not be a worry for this horse, and that is Realm of Flowers. 24 runners previewed. Betting strategy. Maddie, what are you doing with your 100?
Mate, I could chop and change this 10 times. This is a really, really even Melbourne Cup. What I've done is stuck to what I know best and how I rate these horses. And what I've got is Gold Trip and Montefilia being the top rated horses within this field. So I'm sticking with that strategy. So $50 on Montefilia, $30 on Gold Trip. I will be having $10 on Interpretation, as I mentioned now. The wet track really does concern me there. As you mentioned, Arapaho, that's the one that if we are on a heavy track, definitely does need to be elevated into our thinking. But what I will be doing as well with my last 10, nice little box trifecta with the three that I mentioned, Montefilia, Gold Trip, Interpretation, and throwing in Duval Legend. Even though I can't take the 360 on offer, I will be including it in my multiples.
Yeah, nice. I'm going to go 70 on Duvel Legend. I've backed it at the 100 to 1. So I've got to put it in as my main play. $70 on that. I'm going to have $10 on Knight's Order. I thought the Caulfield Cup run was massive. I think it's been set for this race, knowing that they qualified a long way out. I'm going to have $5 on Arapaho at the massive odds of $81. I just can't believe the price between that and Realm of Flowers. So cover that with the little $5. Then we're going to round it off with $15 trifecta. We're going to have 3 Knights Order, 8 Duval Legend, 9 Stockman, 16 Arapaho, and 24 Realm of Flowers. $15 gets you 25%. Yeah, as you said, you could change your mind 15 times, run this race 24 times, and maybe get 24 different results.
Absolutely. I think between us, we just mentioned 6 horses to have a bet on.
Yeah, so good luck, punters. Hopefully that's helped you along the way, and someone surely gets a collect, and hopefully it's the $101 Duvel Legend. Around the grounds, you got anything for Cup Day, Matty?
Not at this stage, mate. What I'll be doing is I will be having a look tomorrow. So anything I do find will be popped onto the WhatsApp community.
Oh, beautiful. Good plug there. WhatsApp, you know what to do, punters. If you're thinking about it, get in before Cup Day because there's going to be plenty of info flying around.
I'll tell you what, the bet slips that are flying around with live runners in the Melbourne Cup. Oof.
Hey, it's funny. We give someone a wrap and we just put Johnny to the bench. And then on Saturday, he just went whack, whack. Hang on, boys. I've got a few multis. Don't you dare write me off. And he's got a few, which wish him all the best. And we'll be cheering Duval Legend. That's for sure. And I know there's one in the community wants it to get beat. So it's going to be a mixed result. It's 5-3. Around the grounds for me, I'm going to go race 8, number 10, Moona Mech. Was a long way off the leaders last start. No horse took him into the race. Had to do it all on his own, all the work. To only go down by 1.25, I think that was huge. Hasn't drawn a barrier until Tuesday. Barrier 4, Blake Shin, consider a lot closer. I think $5 is a good bet. That's race 8, number 10, Moona Mech. We're going to play a same race multi for the Melbourne Cup punters. So, Matty, what are you going to chuck in for our same racer?
Montefilia top 3.
Oh, okay. I'm going to chuck Knight's Order top 4 for the value, and that'll come around to $20.75. So Montefilia top 3, Knight's Order top 4, $20.75. Take that to the bank. We'll probably get one leg now. After a lot of thought, I thought, do we waiver the pineapple of the week? And I thought, nay, I reckon our listeners want something. So I thought, what better way to kick things off at Flemington at 10:45, race 1. We're going to try and get the money before New Zealand kicks off. We're going to go race 1, number 1, Zulqua. It's number 1. It's James Cummings, William Buick, I've butchered it, but I think it's a nice win on debut down the straight. Race experience, big tick. Then went back to the jump outs and looked to be really improved since that race experience race. It's got race experience over a lot of these first starters. None of them have jumped out to me to say back me. So we're going to go with the race experience in race 1, number 1. So let's kick off a winner while New Zealand races are just getting warm.
Zulfwi Kah.
Yeah, Zufqua. I don't know, but I think $3 is absolutely silly. And the track might be in that soft range before that rain hits at around 1 o'clock.
Good luck, Matty Hill.
Yep, good luck. Anything else to add, Matty?
Oh, mate, honestly, as I mentioned at the outset, just make sure that if you do like a horse, if you've been following one, now isn't the time to jump off. Follow through, because you'll be amazed at how many horses in the lead up to the Melbourne Cup have just been running around and not actually putting their best foot forward, saving themselves for Tuesday. So don't jump off now if you do like something.
Yep, 100% well said. That's the end of the show. We will be back maybe Thursday night for Champions Day. We'll just see how Matty is after Oaks Day, not knowing his movements. It could be quite rowdy, but it could be an interesting show, not more or less. Hopefully, you fill your pockets up. More importantly, I hope we fill your pockets up. I just thought we'd end the show with our favourite guy having a chat to me after Le Creek won. So all the best in the Melbourne Cup, guys, and speak to you all or see you all Thursday night.
I'm not a good person, but it just goes to show that good things do happen to bad people. So anyone out there who's up against the wall, fucking stick to it. Every cent you got, your rent, your electricity bill, if you're going to buy your missus a ring, don't fucking do it. Keep punting. Keep fucking punting.